I'm excited to introduce you to our next presenter, welcoming Mr. Dave Henry, Product Marketing Manager at Hubstor. Dave, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for being on, Dave. Take it away.
Oh, no problem at all. Definitely looking forward to it. So hello, everybody. This is it's my honor to present the Hubstor solutions. In fact, we're going to talk about how Hubstor can be your data protection secret weapon. Before I get into any detail with that, let me give you a little bit of background on me. I am the Product Marketing Manager for Hubstor. I started earning a living full-time in IT in January of 1987. So I've kind of been dabbling in backup, well, not dabbling, sometimes I've lived and breathed it, backup and disaster recovery for a while now, pretty much as parts of every point of my career. I've done time in many different data centers and worked with many different cloud platforms, and I'm the guy in the marketing team who took the technical route into our marketing team rather than the marketing route, which is occasionally strange, but it's working for me. So let me tell you a little bit about Hubstor. I won't spend a lot of time on this because that's not really what you guys are here for. You're here to hear about the solutions. But, you know, there are a couple of interesting things about the company that actually affected my decision to join the company. So we've been around for a little over 5 years now, based out of Canada. The company was bootstrapped and is majority owned by the two co-founders. What this means is the company has zero debt, no outside loans, and no outside investors whatsoever. No angel investors, no venture capital. So we are not bound to anyone else's idea of what we ought to be doing. We're able to focus on what our customers need. During my interview process, the company was described to me as customer funded, which turns out to be a fancy term for we're profitable and have several customers who are paying the bills for us. So we've built the business to the point where some organic revenue growth. We're doing this with high quality software and very direct and meaningful customer engagement and continual innovation. A lot of companies talk about using an agile model for their development. Hubstor is actually doing it. This week alone, I've actually seen 3 updates pushed to our platform. Among that was a couple brand new features, a couple bug fixes, and some improvements on existing features. So continual innovation happening throughout. It's that innovation that's helped fuel the growth of our company. We've sustained a 70% year-over-year growth rate. We have multiple clients with dozens of petabytes of data and continuing to grow with us. We find that a lot of customers, after they've chosen our backup for one portion of their IT infrastructure, will then expand to others. So within these customers, we're managing dozens of billions of objects. We've got hundreds of customers, 2 of them in the Fortune 100, and some other ones you might have heard of before, like Monster and Virgin Hyperloop. I always like it to hear when the creators of early adopted technology are going with us. So I'm going to get right into the part where the title came up here. Hopefully that had intrigued you. Yes, it can be your secret weapon. So if you were like me and first heard the term secret weapon from comic books when you were kids, or if you were introduced to them through the 007 movies, you know that all secret weapons have some very basic things in common with each other. First, they're secret. No one's carrying their secret weapon around everywhere they go. In 007 movies, Blofeld carried his cat everywhere, not the remote control to his secret weather device that he was going to use to take over the world. They're remarkably single purpose. Secret weapons are designed to do just one thing, and they do that one thing extraordinarily well. For example, let's say Lex Luthor has somehow managed to manufacture or otherwise acquire a sticky blob of kryptonite. Well, he's not going to carry it around in his pocket all the time. He's going to save it, keep it safe in a vault, probably a lead-lined vault in his lair, until he knows that confrontation with Superman is coming up. Now, it's only effective at Supermen, only effective against Supermen. If he throws it at anyone else, he might stain their shirt, but that's about it. But on the other hand, as far as it being completely effective, it's pretty much deadly for Superman. If he throws it and hits Superman, the fight's pretty much over. So there are a number of ways in which Hubstor is similar to secret weapons. First off, for many of you attending this webinar, this may be the first time you've even heard of Hubstor. We seem to be one of the best kept secrets in IT, and we're looking to change that. So now, so we've been a secret, but now we're revealing ourselves because this is the time you should begin using us. Hubstor's cloud data platform is designed to do one thing. It's designed to protect your data. It's going to keep your data safe automatically based on the policies that you specify. We're providing this as backup as a service. So we're keeping your data safe from being lost. I mean, let's face it, we're all just, one typo or one misclick away from data loss, or unfortunately, one disgruntled employee. We keep that data in a secure and encrypted cloud to make sure that data is kept safe from theft. And we take advantages of blob storage in the cloud in order to ensure that your archives are immutable, meaning they're safe from change, whether that's due to any malicious intentions or someone trying to change something for their own purposes, or just due to things like simple bit rot. So I mentioned some of our customers before, so I won't talk about Virgin Hyperloop. They're a really interesting company. They're looking to create that ultra-fast travel. They had probably by now it's a little over 125 terabytes with us. They're a young company, even younger than us. They're doing it with their Microsoft 365 backup. They're using it to back up all of their messaging and collaboration that they're using through Slack, and we're doing backups for all of their VMware vSphere virtual machines. In addition, they're taking advantage of file system backup and cloud tiering as well. So they've got some online shared file storage that we're backing up for them, and then they can set up automatic tiering with us so that they set the policies for when data moves to the less expensive archive tier, and their policies automatically set the data retention periods. So we're able to streamline all of their backup and archive needs, and we're able to support the critical legal and IT security workflows that they have for protection of their intellectual property. So let me explain a little bit about our platform and how it works. So the first connection through here that customers will experience is our web app service. We have two different types of consoles people can use to connect to that. We have the admin console and the end user console. So for example, you might give your database administrator access to do restores to the databases, but not to anything else. We use Azure Active Directory to authenticate those users. We store everything in the blob storage. As things are coming in, we're storing all the metadata in Azure SQL instance. And then in near real time, as soon as the data's been stored, we run an indexing service against it. That's full text indexing of the content and its metadata. This allows for blazingly fast search results later. And we're taking advantage of a lot of our data capture and backup services. So there's four areas in which we can provide support to our customers. The first is your on-premises data environment. So things running in your data center, our capture and backup services connect you to our cloud platform. So regardless of the number of on-premises data sources you have, we can work with them all. We can work with various types of servers, various types of shared storage. We can provide backup for your Microsoft Hyper-V or VMware vSphere virtual machines, as well as across the board there. So yes, as all of that backup data comes in, again, it goes to the blob storage and is then indexed by our index server. All the metadata and indexing data is stored in Azure SQL instances. So another area we're doing a lot of work with our customers is in the public cloud infrastructure or platform as a service they're working with. We can provide backups for customers Azure Blob Storage or Azure File Storage. We're also providing backup for VMs that customers have running on Azure. And we can also do backup for AWS S3 storage. Now, the way we do this is rather than have anything connect back down to your site and send the data back up, we do a direct cloud-to-cloud connection to do the transfer of data. Again, all authenticated through the credentials you've provided us, stored in our secure Active Directory authenticator. So we go through here so that data transfers there. Now, a lot of these services provide their own backups. So many people ask, why would I need additional backup? And the answer is because you want to be able to sleep peacefully at night. You want that 3-2-1 rule for any backups, which is at least 3 copies of your data in at least 2 different locations, and that one golden copy of the data. So that one truth of the data should have 3 copies in 2 different locations. So they refer to that as the general backup best practice rule of 3-2-1. So we can also work for people's public cloud SaaS services. So anything we're getting a lot of people using software as a service. People have moved over there. Listed it as Office here. I'm working on calling it Microsoft 365 since that's their name change from a little while ago. We actually have all our materials and website updated to stop calling it Office 365, but Microsoft 365. But yes, we support backups of everything there. As we mentioned earlier, version Hyperloop is using us for Slack backup. We have a couple other cloud services available out there that we're providing backup for, Box and Cloud9. And we have many more to come. One thing I do want to say is within the Microsoft Office, we actually have had support for Microsoft Teams available for a little while now. We have customers actively using it. In fact, we put up a post on our blog today describing it and giving you access to the data sheet. So if you're interested in learning about Teams backup, that's live in production. Feel free to check that out. The last area where we can work with customers is we have a very thorough and extensive software development kit. So what you want to think about, let me go back and take care of one thing that I want to mention. So, we have customers who are pulling data into the Hubstor data platform from their local data center, from the public cloud infrastructure as a service, and from their software as a service, all into Hubstor. All of it is being managed by a single unified management console. And because of that indexing and that single console, you're actually able to create a single search that will search all of your data stores and give you the results across all of them. So if you were searching for the name of the new project that's coming out to make sure that all references to your intellectual property were kept safe, you do one search and that would catch things across that came up on your virtual machines, that came up in your email, that came up in Slack or Teams messages, anywhere. You'd get that. So this makes e-discovery or legal holds incredibly simple and very thorough because the lawyers like that. So our software development kit, we're able to build it because everything is based upon our API-first architecture. Anything you can do with Hubstor in the GUI, there's an API available for it. So things people are doing with the set here is building custom connectors. So a connector is the software that connects to a data source and provides that data to the Hubstor cloud. So you might be running multiple different connectors based on the types of data sources you have, or if you have multiple databases, you would be running multiple versions of that connector. But we can only move so fast, so we don't support everything yet. And in that case, if you have a special need and you've got some really good developers on site, you can build your own custom connectors, especially if you want to have something that works with your own homegrown applications. We have people creating their custom skins to the Hubstore interfaces, as well as many people doing some monitoring with their own ticketing system, things like that, are able to integrate Hubstore into their application, allowing that Hubstore to be the back-end backup and storage for their application. If you get the software development kit, there's a couple things in there. We provide complete documentation. Every API command is documented in full with all the options and everything you might need. But we also provide some sample applications so you can see examples of the code, how they're actually used, and get that. And of course, if you're using this, our tech support is available to you to help out. So if anything I've talked about here has caught your interest and you want to know more and kind of figure out how you could proceed next, the first thing you could do is, if you're interested in doing a virtual machine backup, you could actually download the software now, and by an hour from now, you could be backing up all of your VMs. The majority of that hour will probably be spent getting purchasing authority for it. All of our services are billed on a pay-as-you-go basis, so you're only paying for storage actually used. And if, however, you're looking for something a little more complicated, like maybe you want to get a yearly subscription, get a little bit of a discount that way, your company needs to be billed by invoice instead of that monthly subscription. Or we have some customers, rather than running their tenant in our cloud, we have customers who are actually self-hosting Hubstore. So that would be called the isolated tenant or the dedicated instance there. So if you got questions about anything there, you're able to contact us to get your questions answered. Or if you know you're interested and you're not sure what your next step might be to find out more about Hubstore, you can contact sales. We can get you a demo scheduled or anything else you need in order to make sure you can check it out and see whether or not it would meet your needs. So
excellent,
while
Dave.
we were, so did we have any questions come in? I see a couple
Absolutely.
questions in the window here.
We do.
So
Yeah,
let me answer. Okay, yeah, if you want to do the poll first, and then I'll dive into
Yeah,
some
I just want to tell everyone out there in the audience, we brought up a poll there on the screen for your response. We appreciate that. It just says, what additional information would you like about the Hubstore solution? So Dave, yeah, go ahead. If there's questions that caught your eye, feel free.
Yeah, so I see a question about how we prevent the deletion of data. So the question is, do we use Worm or some other method? And the answer is that Worm is a very generic term. It's a large category that covers a whole bunch of different ways of doing Worm. Worm, it means write once and read many times. So you're basically writing it once, and then that data cannot be changed. We use blob storage or object storage in the cloud, and the way object storage works is it creates an immutable, unable to be edited object. When you store things, if you make a slight change to that object and try to resave it, you're actually creating a brand new object. So that stops the data deletion. And that is stopped for the retention period that you set, and handles everything, again, automatically for you. I see a question about using the new Microsoft API for granularity. Absolutely. With our Teams backup, you can set, for instance, you can set backup policies at the overall Teams level for per individual workspaces, per user, per channel, whatever granularity you would like and best suits your needs. Consumption-based pricing. You can get pricing info on our website. I'm not going to go into too much detail for that right now. The basic is you're paid for the storage you're using, so basically the amount of data you back up. And you can have two tiers, the regular tier or the archive tier. The archive tier is about 10% as expensive as the regular tier as far as gigabyte per month cost. So you can drop that down. Does a client need to be installed on original hardware? Sometimes the connectors may need to be installed on the server in order to make sure things are working. Just basically tiny bit of software that allows for the connection, and otherwise there is no dedicated server you need on site to run management or anything like that, and you do not need, everything is through a software-based console, so you can run it from anywhere, and you have that unified management console across all of your backups and searches. All right, were you seeing any other questions? I'm still trying to catch up with them here.
Absolutely, yeah. Lots of good questions coming in here for Dave at Hubstor. Keep those coming. One question I did see I wanted to ask you, Dave, and that was about for virtual machine backup. Actually, I think you covered that one about agents.
Well, it's a little different for virtual machine backup. So
okay.
Our virtual machine backup is agentless, which means there is no software installed on the individual VMs. There is some software connections required to the physical host in order to get those backups. But because it's not, you don't have to install an agent and configure each and every single virtual machine. The virtual machine has full access to all of the resources that it has reserved for it. And so the backups will not affect the performance of the virtual machine itself in any way. By doing things, setting policies at multiple levels, you can set policies at the virtual data center, the cluster, the host, or the individual virtual machine level. If I set things at the cluster level, any new virtual machines added to the environment will be automatically protected the next time backup runs. It eliminates a step from anything you have to do. When you create that new VM, you don't have to change your backup policies. You don't have to install software. Hubstor will just take care of it for you automatically from the moment that VM is created.
Very nice. I like that. Another question, what about for public cloud backup? You said more providers will be supported in the future. Any hint as to which ones they might be?
So I know for a fact that my boss is listening here, so I'm going to tell you that I wish I could give some more details on the ones there, but that is, I'm going to try and be very precise in my speaking here so that I don't get in trouble. There's a number of things on the roadmap and some good stuff coming. If there's a specific public cloud source or SaaS provider that you're looking for, that you don't see we have support for, reach out to us at that sales@hubstor.net mailing address and let us know, because we're, of course, prioritizing them based on perceived demand for them. So if there's something that you're using that you don't see backups for and you'd like to see, let us know. And that can affect our development process, or at least the development scheduling. And, of course, if you have something and that is not widely used elsewhere, you always have the option of using the SDK to build your own custom connector so that you can still use Hubstor with that.
Got it. Okay. Excellent. I like that feedback loop there. Another question here from San, I see they're asking, what different types of backup does Hubstor do? Like, how does that work with Hubstor?
Mostly fulls and incrementals. We actually, on the back end, can create a synthetic full so that you don't, when it comes time for restore, you can just pull that full restore down and know that it has the most recent incremental information in there as well. You could set it up to do differential backup, but we find that incrementals tend to be a little more useful as well as easier to do restores from, because, let's face it, nobody is backing up data because doing backups is fun. It's just not. It's a necessary evil, and you want to do it there. And if everything goes perfectly, you're never going to use that data that you spent all that time getting to be sure you're copying exactly byte for byte. But it's the insurance policy. I started, throughout my IT career, I have never once seen someone get fired for a failed backup. It just doesn't happen. If I'm in charge of the backups and one of them fails, I'm the only one who knows about it. However, a failed restore can become what we call a resume generating event. And failed restore is where you find career changes cost. So the main thing you want to do is ensure that restore goes fast, and there's nothing like trying to do a restore of the CEO's mailbox while he's breathing down your neck. Not something that's happened at my current company. This was in the past. So you want to make sure that, so to ensure that restore goes well, we're mostly sticking with the synthetics with the full backups or the incrementals, or using those incrementals to build that synthetic full. So you can just do one restore, even if your last full backup was a week ago.
Great point, Dave. Well said. It looks like we're running out of time here in our Q&A session. Last question I wanted to ask you is ways to get started here. I just brought up that slide. What do you recommend?
So if you're looking at solutions for virtual machine protection, I would say check out that Deploy Now link. You've got some opportunities to download the software, sign up for a Hubstor account, and you could start using it immediately. Since it is consumption-based on storage, if you need to do a proof of concept first, do it on some small, maybe your dev test environment, and look at it there. Or, if you're not sure of anything else that you want to do, you can definitely, there's a contact form on our website, or you can just email sales directly at sales@hubstor.net, and you will get some personal attention reaching back to you to help you figure out what your next steps are. Again, especially if you want to see a demo, we'll get that set up.
Excellent.
So thank you, everybody, for your time. I definitely appreciate it. I know everybody's busy these days, so thanks for spending some of your day with me.
Thank you, Dave. Great presentation. Thanks so much for being on.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. And one last thing real quick, if you are looking for a way to get started, get more info, if you look at your tabs on the interface here, you will see that there's a handouts tab. So there's a PDF up there that you're able to download.
Great point, Dave. The handouts tab there does have a nice Hubstor ebook. I want to call everyone's attention to that, the Cloud Data Management Platform ebook. So make sure that you download that and check it out after the event.